All right, greetings and welcome everybody. So we're going to get right into this evening, and I hope all is well with you today. We're going to get right into exposing Freemasonry. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but if you can, certainly let me know. That would be great. And I hope all is well with you today. We're going to get right into exposing Freemasonry. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but if you can, certainly let me know. That would be great. So as I kind of work with this audio, so please kind of bear with me a little bit, but we're going to get into this. This is going to be a very interesting topic tonight. So I'm going to see, can I get this screen share up here real quick to where you can see exactly what we're going to be talking about tonight. I think you're going to really get a kick out of it because I know I am. And it's been something I've been waiting to do for a minute. One of my good lodge brothers shared this with me, and I'm going to take a look at it, see what we can talk about it. You know, it's a little while. I'm sorry, I know I'm up late tonight, and a lot of you is like, wow, why did you come this late at night? You know, sometimes it happens that way. I'm just happen to be up um, and enjoying this evening. So please join me as we get into this. I think, like I said, you're going to really get a kick out of it, and I'm looking forward to it. And let's see what time it is right now. It's about 10:55 p.m. That is Pacific Standard Time. So I want to say good morning wherever you at right now. Maybe you at work, but good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you at. So I think you're gonna get a kick out of this. So we're gonna get right into this real quick. So uh, let's see what the minister has to say, and then we're gonna talk about it. How about that? So give me just a second to set this over here. See if I can catch this here real quick. Let's see. I want to turn that volume up. Yeah, I think I got it. I think I got it. But anyway, let's get right into it. Let's see. Let's see what the minister has to say here.
Liars. These liars have lied so well and for so long that they have lost their capacity for truth. 2 Timothy 3:13 says, unscrupulous con men will continue to exploit the faith. They're as deceived as the people they lead astray. As long as they're out there, things can only get worse. First, brothers and sisters, let me just say, by no means through this teaching am I trying to attack these precious men that have pledged their allegiance or their loyalty to the great architect of the universe and to the lodge. I want to remind you that people are most precious to the Lord, no matter who they are. And even more than that, Jesus died for them. Secondly, truth be told, most men involved in Freemason have no idea of what they have gotten into and how demonic the lodge truly is. And you might say, how is that, Pastor? I'll let you see that for yourself in a short moment. To fully understand how dark Freemason really is, a man must move up into the higher levels towards the 33rd degree, which most never do. Most men become satisfied with the first, second, or third degrees.
All right, so I'm going to agree with him on that. Most Masons do become satisfied with the first, second, and third degree. That part I'm going to agree with as we move on to this video. Let's continue.
Of the Blue Lodge. And the first 3 degrees is called Blue Lodge because of the importance of the blue skies and its heavenly hosts of stars and the planets. What does that mean? Off the bat, I want you to understand that Freemason is deeply involved in astrology. Astrology is extremely important to Freemason. Ancient pagans worshipped under the starry skies, and so does Freemason.
So when he says that, apparently he hadn't read the Bible. Apparently he has not read the Bible. The Bible itself deals in astrology. For those of you who read it and understand it, you can definitely know that for yourself. There's no, please, I'm telling you, if you remove the S-O-N and put in S-U-N, and then you look at the 12 disciples, look at the 12 zodiac signs, boom, there you go. That's just a short version of how you can view the Bible from an astrology zodiac sign point of view. Come on, let's continue.
The first degree is called entered apprentice. The second degree is called fellowcraft. The third degree is called master mason. Freemason began in the 18th century in England.
All right, so right there, he needs to go back and do some reading when he said Masonry began in the 18th century in England. I would suggest for this minister for him to go way back a little bit because he has that really confused. I've been a Mason 30 some years, and I once believed that until I really indulged myself in his histories and his signs and his symbols. It goes back a lot farther than that. Let's continue.
Mason is the world's largest secret society, by all expressions, a coven.
Masonry is not a secret society. You can go by the rituals at Barnes and Nobles right now. You can look at all the signs, you can look at all the passwords, everything. If you, I mean, legitimately speaking, right now, if you wanted to, you can go right now and see for yourself that as he claims it, that he's going to expose Freemasonry. Freemasonry is.
Now, if you don't know what a coven is, I invite
society.
you to go and look it up. I won't mention it here, or maybe I should. No, I think I'll let you go look that up. But it is the world's largest coven. Masonry has everything to do with pagan religions of the past.
So apparently, once again, he needs to go back and read the Bible, Christmas. He needs to understand about Thanksgiving, not Thanksgiving, Easter. Those days that are celebrated by most Christians are pagan holidays. Let's continue.
It is based on Kabbalah, which is ancient Jewish tradition of mysticism. The Shriners, which is the 33rd degree.
Okay. Oh, he's killing me with this. He said the Shriners is the 33rd degree. Oh, please, somebody call this minister up and help him out. The Shriners are not the 33rd degree. For those of us who have gone through those rites and ceremonies, yes, we know this. We know that the Shriners are not the 33rd degree. I don't know where he got that information from, but no, the Shriners are not the 33rd degree. That's, ooh, he needs some help on that. That's all I can say. All right, let's continue.
The highest level of Freemason is the Islamic expression of Freemason, and is nothing but a whole lot of debauchery and hate towards Christianity.
Apparently, he doesn't know much about Islam when he says this. And I would suggest anybody, please, if you're going to bring that up in your dispute in regards to Freemasonry, please go and do some studying in regards to Islam. Please do. And check out Sarah and her two sons by Abraham. You know what I mean? Go check that out and you'll find out that connection. Let's continue.
People like Joseph Smith. Has anybody in here ever heard of Joseph Smith? I hope he wasn't your uncle. Joseph Smith was the founder of Mormonism. He was a master Mason. No wonder then Mormonism has close similarity with Freemason. But also the first 4 presidents of Latter-day Saints were also involved in Freemason. And then talk about the Jehovah's Witness. Charles Taze Russell, the founder of the Jehovah's Witness, was also a Freemason. Therefore, the very strange doctrines in Jehovah's Witness. In what way is...
Now, he talked about those 2 particular founders of those 2 particular religious organizations were Freemasons. And for me, I'm not a Mormon, nor am I a Jehovah's Witness. So when he says that, I kind of see where he's going with it, as far as trying to bring that, to say how that can be satanic or whatever. I don't see it that way. I do know that in Mormonism, it has a very distinct flavor to it. And in regards to Freemasonry, I can't say that in regards to the Jehovah's Witness.
Is Freemason secret? Its existence is not secret, but its rituals with its blood oaths are very, very secret. Their meetings are actually held behind guarded doors.
Well, I would hope now, with all of the killing that goes on in churches, that you would also put guards at your door. The Nation of Islam has been doing that for a very long time, because they understand that anybody can bring a particular weapon in and cause harm and hurt to the congregation. For those who was killed some years ago sitting in church praying, should have had guards at the door. So yes, there is a person who guards the door to make sure that you don't come up in there disrupting the meeting. All right?
Their buildings either have no windows, or if they have windows, the windows are either painted very dark, or thick curtains are hanged so that hardly any light can even get in.
That right there, have you, look, I'm gonna say this. If you've gone into any Masonic temple or building, you're going to see that it is a building and it has windows and it has large rooms. All right. It has buildings, quite a few buildings I've seen. Some have no windows and some have windows. That varies from large to large.
A Freemason lodge building is guarded by a man with a sword at the entrance inside.
Well, he needs to have a gun these days. My Tyler needs to have a gun. He needs to have something that's going to put you down, because a sword these days ain't necessarily working when people wants to cause you harm and hurt. As I said earlier, I believe the church itself needs to have security. Excuse me.
Only those who chose the sworn secrecy can enter inside. Candidates for the 3 degrees of Freemason, which is called Blue Lodge, are always assured that Masonry is based on the Bible, but it is not.
Freemasonry is based upon the Hermetic legend. And before that, there was another legend. Okay, so no, Freemasonry just, it takes the attributes of the Bible and applies to the man's life. So when you say that it's based upon the Bible, no, it is a Hermetic legend. And if you know anything about the Hermetic legend, you would know that there's certain characters that they choose, such as Hiram Abiff, Hiram Atari, and King Solomon. Okay, so no, Freemasonry is not based upon the Bible.
Freemason has 4 main holy books that they honor, and the Bible is the least honored among them all.
Freemasonry, for those who want to be a Freemason, Freemason, it doesn't necessarily honor the book. It says that if that is your book of faith, that is your book of faith. Be it the Quran, be it the Bible, be it whatever your faith is your faith when you come into Freemason. We don't try to convince you to leave your church or your synagogue or wherever you may be going to have prayer. We don't convince you to leave. It is of your own free will and accord. So if the Quran is your book of choice for your faith, so be it. If the Bible is that book, so be it. Is the whatever book it is, that's your book of faith. Freemason does not tell a man that he can have his Masonic book upon that altar at all.
Freemason honors at the highest level the Quran, which is from...
Again, he's totally wrong. Freemason does not honor the Quran at its highest level, because the Shriner is not the highest level in Freemasonry. That's a fact.
The Muslim religion, they also have the Tanakh, which is the Hebrew Bible. They also have the Vedas, which is the Hindu holy book, and they have the Holy Bible, the Christian Bible. But the name of Jesus is completely forbidden from the lips of Freemason.
Now that's a bald-faced lie. Has he ever been to St. John's Day? Especially if you are in the African-American diaspora of Freemasonry, you go to St. John's Day, that's all you're going to hear is Jesus. All you going he needs to, that's what he needs to do. Apparently he hadn't done that.
As a matter of fact. And again, please remember that as I share this with you, that most men in Freemason do not know these things, because these things are only revealed at higher level in Freemason.
That is a lie. That is a total lie. When you come into Freemasonry, you have the opportunity in Freemasonry. You get it all in the first degree anyway. The only thing that changes when you choose to go to York Rite or Scottish Rite or become a Shriner, the things that changes is the obligation that you may take. That changes. The initiation ceremonies definitely changes. But what he's saying, as far as that concerned, with the book being on the altars, nah, bruh. If you believe in Jesus, that's who you believe in, and if you believe in Muhammad, that's who you believe in. Freemason regards no man for his beliefs as far as that concerned. We actually encourage you to study your faith, to indulge yourself in your faith.
But Freemason actually printed their own Bible, and they also call it the Holy Bible, and it has their main symbol on it, which I will share with you in a short moment.
Freemasonry do not print their own Bible. There are Bibles out there with the Masonic emblem on top. And if you have one, when you open it, it gives you all the degrees that a person goes through. And in some Masons, in some Bibles, it explains to you exactly what takes place. So for him to say that, he hadn't really done his research. He's just talking. Maybe he talked with someone who's a former Mason and this is what they told him. But he didn't really talk to someone that enjoys the craft, someone who can really break this thing down to him. And so far, his information has been incorrect.
But if you would open the Freemason Bible that they printed, never once will you find the name of Jesus in it.
Once again, I'm going to call him out and say that he's a bald-faced lie, period. For those of us who are Freemasons and we have the Masonic Bible, you're going to find Jesus all through it.
Is all eliminated from their Bible. Thus, Jesus is reduced to the level of Confucius, who is always confused, Buddha, Mohammed, and all the Greek philosophers. Jesus to the Freemason has no greater importance than any of these immoral, ungodly figures. Freemason believes that in all religion there is truth, and if you've been injured in a...
Well, that's a fact. In all religions, there is truth. You can say whatever you want to say and how you say it. What it is that when you think of Freemason, when you think of the Bible, when you think of these things, you must understand there is truth in everything. So I know most people believe that the Bible is the ultimate word of God, but Christianity is a young religion for one thing. And if you really indulge yourself in reading the Bible, you will see exactly what the Messiah meant as he was teaching to those who wanted to be his followers. So for him to say that, I don't know. This is why it's very important that if you're going to do this or say those things, that you really indulge yourself in finding out the correct information, not just some you can just throw your hat on and be done with it, And that's the thing about a lot of individuals that do this, that they go and to me, they just screw it all up. That's just me. All right, so look, I'm not going to go any further with this. I'm really trying to see how I can shrink this screen here and make it smaller, and it ain't even happening for me. So I'm going to probably see what's going on with it and see what I can do to it or do with it. And maybe I'll try to come back. This had not been working for me tonight. It has not been working for me tonight. So we're gonna see what we can make happen here. Hold on just a second. Maybe I can go back to it, pull it up a little bit right here. I hope that you're able to see it. I think I got something going on right here. There you go. I think I got something going on right here. Okay, we're going to continue to see what pops up.
Of Freemason. In 1 Timothy 4, 1 and 2, it says the Spirit makes it clear.
Oh, hold on. I speed that up a little bit. Right there.
And then talk about the Jehovah's Witness. Charles Taze Russell, the founder of the Jehovah's Witness, was also...
I'm going to go a little farther.
Watch what turmeric does to your inflammation.
I gotta skip this. Hold on.
If your knee is uncomfortable when it's bent and when it's...
Skip.
Freemasonry is so deceptive, brothers and sisters, that even many pastors are fully sworn into Freemason. This one is not sworn in. Will never be sworn in. But there are some top-ranking pastors around the world in mega churches, pastoring mega churches, that are involved in Freemason. And you may say, but how could that even be possible? Because of the great deception that is involved in Freemason and secrecies that are only revealed in the higher levels of Freemason, even pastors gravitate towards it to their own shame and downfall. In degree 18, the degree book of Freemason tied all the above statement together by saying that Masonry has the mission to bring together all men of all religion and make them one. That sounds like the one world religion.
All right, so when he says that, because Masonry regards no man's for his religious belief, Masonry has that capability of doing that. Because we truly say that we should meet on a level as individuals. We should meet on the level. We should be squared away with each other. We should be plumb with each other. So yes, what's wrong with that? I like to say that. That's my point of view,
To me, which is an act from the Antichrist under the Masonic banner and altar. They are told men involved in Freemason are told that Freemason makes them better Christians. Think about the deceit there. It won't, it will just do the opposite instead. Men in Freemason say that Freemasonry make them better men, but the opposite is actually true. Many men say that Freemason is a family tradition, but truthfully, it is a family tragedy. And you will learn between today and next week what a serious tragedy it really is to the entire family of the man that is involved in Freemason. Freemason has caused untold division in families across the world. When a man turns to Freemason for whatever reason, he may...
Hold on. I'm going to say this. If Freemasonry is a family tradition for quite a few individuals, you know, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but a person who's joining Freemasonry must join of their own free will and accord. It must be of their own free will and accord. For him to say that, again, he's totally misled in that.
may choose, he is actually turning his back on the living God. And
let there be light. The Light Ranger by Devos is a telescoping LED lantern.
And on Jesus Christ. Here are some reasons why men would choose to join Freemason. Number one, some sincerely are searching for the meaning of life. And they're told that the Freemason will actually give them the meaning for life.
Okay, so he said that Freemason would give you the meaning of life. I've never been told that. I've never been told that Mason would give me the meaning of life. So I don't know where he got that from. Once again, his information is just totally off on that particular statement. A person who believes that Freemason will give them the meaning of life is you're joining for the wrong reasons.
Secondly, some are searching for the answers to life. You know, there's a lot of people in the world.
And Freemasonry does not offer you a meaning to life. Now, I would tell you, once you begin to indulge yourself in Masonry and different information that you may come across, you may have a different perspective on life. Okay. But to give a man a reason, an answer to life, nah.
Today that are perplexed about what life is and how to live life. They're promised in Freemason that all the answers will be given to them. Thirdly, some are simply searching for brotherhood.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
Another word, a clique.
You won't figure it
People
out
that they can hang out with, that are
become
doing the same things they're doing and having the same interests.
So my thing would be, what's wrong with searching for brotherhood? What's wrong with searching for brotherhood? I would say this. I have learned and have come to a place in Freemasonry to where there are some great men that I've come across. You know, that's my thing. I got some noise in the background. It's my daughter, you know, but I would say this, definitely I've come across some great individuals in Masonry as far as the brotherhood is concerned. Most definitely.
That they have. Fourth, some are searching for power, and believe me, they find power in Freemason.
I would like to know what power Freemason has bestowed or something. Wait a minute, hold on. I would like to know what power Freemason has bestowed upon someone that gave them like wealth, land gain, whatever your gain may have been. I would like to speak to someone who have gotten that type of wealth out of Freemasonry. Oh Lord, I like to find that out for myself. I like to speak to them.
In the lodge. Some are wanting belonging and acceptance because of abandonment of their father. They grew up without a dad, some without a mom, and they find Freemason to be the place that becomes that father or that parent.
Okay, so his number 5 was that belonging and accepting. You know, when you're around people who accept you for being you, who wants to see you be successful, who wants you to be a better person, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And yes, there are quite a few brothers who have become part of Freemasonry and have found that this is where they was accepted at, accepted and respected. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
To them. Some want help with business connection. You might not know this, but Freemason controls tons of businesses in the world today.
So his number 6 was business connection. Most of the time, most of us don't get a job unless you know someone. Let's just be honest. Most people don't get the job unless they know someone. So when he says business connection, that can be for any part in life, you know. So I'm going to agree with him on that, you know, because let's just face it. If you're a part of anything, if you are a part of different churches, and you got a person in there that goes to the same church and they got that business, they're gonna probably give you the job. That's a fact. Yeah, most people, you don't get that job unless you know somebody.
And when you become a Freemason and you're busted and disgusted, and you have no money, and you want to become an entrepreneur, Freemason, the lodge sets you up and gives you connection with all of this, and all of a sudden you become a business owner, a business.
Now, he just said the business connection. I know a lot of broke Masons, a lot of Masons, some are even homeless. So when he say that, I'm like, come on, man, you really stretching it. I wish to God I could be part of a lodge that had that type of real pull to where if I was unemployed and I needed a job, boom, here's a job, here's some extra money. Man, come on now. I'm not saying that there's not business owners in the lodge and those who have those type of connections. I'm not going to deny that, but I'm just saying the way he's putting it, as far as saying, you, man, come on now. Oh, Lord, I wish I had that type of hookup.
This man, and you have money because of all the influence it is involved with. Some are looking for help with influence in the community. And again, because Freemason is so deeply knotted into society, you would be amazed to find out that actually when you join the Freemason, you become a person of influence.
He said, now look, he said, when you join Freemason, you become a person of influence. Woo. I don't know once again who you've been talking to, Pastor, but that's not true at all. Oh my goodness. Man. Ooh, we.
In the community. Entering the craft of Freemason is a search for light. That's what some people think. A search for spiritual knowledge and understanding that the lodge will never be able to give it. Why? Scripture tells us that Jesus only is the light. People believe, as a matter of fact, when you enter the entered apprentice, which is the very first degree, you are told. I'll share that with you in a moment. You are told to confess that you're looking for the light.
Ooh, Pastor, once again, you're not told that you are a search of light. No, you're not told that now. I don't know what you read. There are so many different Masonic rituals out there, but to say that, now you are wrong on that one. Come on now. Let's continue to go with it.
And that you're blind. And that Freemason will be that light in your life, but yet it is the deepest darkness that you're ever getting into. But there's much more involved in Freemason. Freemasons, men that enter Freemason, that take blood oaths and swear and get into at least the first 3 degrees, the Blue Lodge, it's like they are looking at an island. Think, you and I think we live on an island, and you're going by on a boat, and you see the island, you see the surface of the island, but what you can't see is how deep this island is rooted down to the bottom of the ocean. All you see is the little surface piece on the top. That's what most men see in Freemason. They don't see the mountain of deep deception that is involved in Freemason. They just get to see the little tip of the iceberg.
See, this is what gets me when he talks about and he says you only get to see the little glimpse on a look. Freemasons are an organization that most don't go into the appending bodies on the York Rite or Scottish Rite side. If you look at Freemasons, you have to look at it from many different perspectives, because you have what you call American rites of Freemasonry. You go overseas and there's a whole another set of rites of Freemasonry. But I believe he's talking about the American rites of Freemasonry, and he's totally off base with that. Just real off base with that.
That looks pretty and appealing to them. There are many forms of Freemason available to the public today. You have the Blue Lodge, which is the first 3 degrees. You have the York. You have the Scottish Rites. You have the Order of the Eastern Star. The Order of the Eastern Star is for women only. And then you have the Mystic Shrine. To be initiated into the first degree, we will go a little bit deeper with these degrees next week. To be initiated into the first degree, which is called entered apprentice, one is taken into a preparation room. You cannot get into the holy place before going into the preparation room. And by the way, the holy place is the lodge. So in that preparation room, the man is stripped naked. That's the very starting point. For what reason?
He said the man is stripped naked. Nah, bro. Nah, come on now. I don't know where you got that one from, but you're not stripped naked. Not at all. Boy, I tell you. Come on, Pastor. You got to do better than this.
Because it's psychological. They want you to understand you are entering Freemason with nothing to give, but everything to receive. Secondly, you are given a 2-piece white pajamas to put on. Remember now that this Freemason thing is mainly based on Kabbalah.
9 out of 10 urologists.
So he says that Freemason is basically based off of the Kabbalah, you know, and I get that. I get that, but it goes a little bit farther than that. I mean, because if you begin to see Freemasonry and only think that it's based off of that, then you've totally missed it. Totally missed it.
Perverted Jewish tradition. And so they are trying to mock whatever God had in the Holy Bible. Because in the Aaronic priesthood in our Holy Bible, God commanded that they would put on white undergarments. So Freemason now copies this for all the wrong reasons. Thirdly, the person is blindfolded with a thick cloth under it, so he doesn't know his surroundings. This is called hoodwinked. The word hoodwink means deceived.
What? The word hoodwink means deceit. Oh, come on, man. You have got to do better than this. I don't know who you've been talking to. I don't know. But we have got to do better than this. Come on now. I've been listening to you. Some things I can say, all right, okay, you okay, I can see that. But being a Mason for 35 years, a lot of this stuff you're talking about is totally off base, totally off base. This is why it's important that that you have to really talk to someone who's already been a Mason. Period. I mean, come on now, man.
A member of Freemason doesn't even know that that means deceit. And again, we're going to talk about that term hoodwink more next week. Finally, then, the person is now prepared to enter the holy place, which is the lodge. Don't tell anybody I tell you this. It's the most unholy place, but it is called the holy place. Then they are led into the holy place, which is the lodge hall. And then a question is asked to this man entering the first degree, which he does not know how to answer. And the person that has his hand guiding him and leading him will give him the answer that he must answer. So really what he is saying is not from his own heart. He is being told what to say. So when they ask him.
So in order to be a Mason, it must first be in your heart. I don't know, like I said, I don't know what you've been reading, Pastor, but you got to do better than this. In order to be a Mason, it first must be in your heart. It's a fact. For those who are Masons, they'll tell you that. That's no secret. You can go buy any Masonic ritual you want to from any Barnes and Nobles or any bookstore. It has all the signs, words, symbols, all of that. But in order to understand it, you must go through those rites and ceremonies. You can read it all day, but you're not going to understand it until you actually go through those rites and ceremonies, period.
The question, and this is the question, why do you want to join the lodge? The person that is leading him by his hand tells him to say, I am a poor, blind candidate desiring to be brought from darkness to light.
Yeah, you read that straight from the ritual. You read that straight from the ritual. And it's quite all right because you did answer that one correct. You read that from the ritual, though. I got you.
So again, psychologically, they're training you. You are nobody. You're nothing. And Mason, Freemason, will make you into somebody. Again, that's God's job. That's the job of Jesus, not an organization. A blue rope is tied around their neck and he is pulled forward. The color blue, remember I told you, is symbolic of the sky, the blue sky, the stars, and all the...
I don't know how you figure that a blue rope is put around his neck and he's pulled by the rope. I've never been to an initiation where the man is just pulled by the rope. He's got it, but pulled by the rope? Nah. Now, if you probably came in the 70s, if for those old school cats, you probably did get pulled by the neck with that rope, but I don't think they're doing that way. I'm just saying, nah.
The stuff up there. Why? Because this is what pagans worship and adore. And Freemason, even though those involved in the first 3 degree will never know this, they are actually getting involved in a religion that is completely pagan. Then a compass is placed to his heart and he is sharply pricked with the compass. Has anybody in here ever seen a compass before, the geometry compass? Yes. You know that that's quite pointed, right? So the person that wrote all of this information explains that when he was being initiated to the first degree, they actually stabbed him lightly with that compass and it deeply hurt. But
it's supposed to hurt. when you get, that's supposed to hurt. I'm just saying, it's supposed to hurt. Yeah, you're right. It's supposed to hurt.
That has a significance. which you'll hear in a moment. Then a voice says, so it will be if you presume to reveal the secrets of Freemason. In other words, that person, they don't know what they're saying. They're just repeating. They think this thing is just a lot of words and just hurry up. I want to get involved. I want to get into this thing. But they don't realize the curses that they're bringing on themselves and their family, which
this is an individual journey. This is not for your family. So to say that he's bringing something upon his family is totally, totally incorrect. It is not right to say that, because when you come into Freemasonry, it is of your own free will and accord. And now that's a fact.
we're going to talk about next week. So after they are stabbed lightly with that geometry instrument, they are then told, so will happen to you in your heart if you share any of the secrets that you know about Freemason.
Now, Freemasonry is such a big secret society, you would not be able to get your hands on any of its Masonic rituals, but you are. So therefore, to me, it is not, it ain't no secret no more. Maybe a long time ago, but now, these days, no, it ain't no secret no more.
Then another question is asked of the man. In whom do you put your trust? Now remember, this man knows nothing about the lodge, so really he doesn't know what to answer. But the person who is leading him will tell him, you must say God.
Now, with that being said, if a person is sure themselves, and I've come across a lot of brothers and initiated a lot of brothers, and when they are sure themselves, they say that they put their trust in God. That's what they say. If you're sure about yourself, you should put your trust in God. That's a fact.
Question is, which God? As we're going to find out in a moment. Then the man makes an oath, kneeling on his left knee in the holy place before him.
And I'm going to go back, and what you just said was incorrect. When he says that he put his trust in God, it's the God that he believes in. It's the God that he believes in. He puts his trust in the God that he believes in.
The altar with left hand under the Bible and the compass and the square on top of the Bible. And you're going to find out some serious meanings of these instruments in a short moment. The oath he takes is this. I bind myself under no less penalty than that of, listen, having my throat, and the person does like this on his neck with his hand from ear to ear so he can feel what he is saying. I bind myself under no less penalty than that of having my throat cut from ear to ear if I reveal any secret. My tongue torn out by its root.
He's definitely reading in there from a ritual now.
Remember, all these things are disease and sickness that are being launched into the families. I'll share that with you next week. And then he says that my body buried in the sand of the sea. Still blindfold.
See, that's the thing you got to look at. Yes, he's still blindfolded. Absolutely, he's still blindfolded. And to say that, as you look at it, I'm like, come on, man, really? I mean, I'm listening to what you're saying, but no, no, come on now.
Please cue it. The man is now told that he will kiss the Holy Bible to consummate his oath. Now, who wouldn't kiss the Bible? All religious people kiss the Bible. I've seen that. So this man now, completely blindfolded, puts his hand under the Bible with the compass and the square on top of the Bible. The Bible is open, and the man is now told, you are going to kiss the Bible to consummate your oath. What he is not told is that the Bible is open to the page in the Old Testament where Baal is they're making sacrifices unto Baal.
Oh, no, no, that's a big ball faced lie right there, Pastor. It doesn't work like that. Where is it open? You gave the wrong information. You gave the wrong information on that one. No, it's not open on no Book of Paul. It's not no. It's not open there. You need to go back and read the ritual because I know you got one. That's not where it's open at.
Therefore, when he kisses that Bible, he is actually kissing the demon god called Baal. And he doesn't know that. But by that act, that demon Baal gets into the person and does his work. He is told from that time forward, he will never be able to use the name of Jesus.
Oh no, I don't know what you just read, but I don't think no Mason have ever been told that they couldn't use the name of Jesus. Now that right there is incorrect, totally 100% incorrect. I don't know of one Mason that has ever been told that they could not use the name of Jesus. If you come across a Mason that has told you that, I don't know what lodge he was part of. I have no clue of what lodge he was a part of because I know individuals who are Muslims. I know individuals who are Christians who are Masons, ministers, and I know for a fact that that's wrong. Come on, that's wrong.
In the lodge, again, no prayers. All the prayers that they pray in the lodge, and they open with a prayer and they close with a prayer, the name of Jesus is never once mentioned.
You have never been to a Prince Hall Lodge if you're telling me that the name of Jesus has never been mentioned. I don't know. I tell you what, you feel like you're in church. You go to some of these lodges. I know that. You know, this little light of mine. Oh, yeah. Come on now. I don't know what lodge you're talking about, but I can tell you some of these lodges take you to church.
That's the end of Jesus for you in the lodge. Let's look at a few gods quickly of Freemason. Firstly, and one of the biggest gods in Freemason is Baal. Baal is the Canaanite false god of life, fertility, and rain. I want you to watch your outline how many times you see fertility, and I have it highlighted in black. The reason I did that is because everything else we're going to talk about now, after this, you'll see how sexual and demonic the lodge truly is. So Baal is the Canaanite false god of life and fertility and rain. Another god of Freemason is Anubis. He is a man with ram's head. Osiris, healing and rebirth, reincarnation. Fertility, goddess of motherhood, magic. Notice the word fertility again. Then you have Isis, ancient Egyptian goddess, goddess of love. You see it again? Fertility, magic, and moon goddess. Then you have the god Tammuz, which is ancient Mesopotamian. Notice again, fertility god. And then you have Krishna, which is one of the most revered fertility god in Hinduism. Then you have Sherez, symbol of immorality. So notice how many times you see the...
Out of my 30-some years of Freemasonry, I never known Freemasonry to have a God. And I have ascended to the 33rd in the 95th degree. And never have I, in any of my rites and ceremonies, have been told that Masonry has a God. Never, never.
The word fertility, how many gods of paganism involved fertility? Now, let's look at the symbols of Freemason. And there are many, many symbols, but I am taking the most important ones for you so you can understand the horrendous true meaning of these symbols. First of all, you have the letter G. Has anybody in here ever seen that symbol from the Freemason before, that letter G within the middle of the compass and the square? Actually, many men have it hanging around their neck, or they have it on as a bumper sticker or something like that. But really and truly, if you don't know what that symbol is, it's quite an attractive symbol. If you watch it on the chain of a man, it's beautiful, but cursed from hell. All right? The G is taught to the Blue Lodge. Remember now, the Blue Lodge is the first, second, and third degree. They're blind like a bat. They don't know anything about Freemason. They are told by Freemason that it symbolizes God. The G means God. But again, which God? The G,
Okay, so yes, the G can stand for geometry, the G can stand for deity, the G can stand for your God. Whatever God you believe in, who am I to tell you which God to believe in? And that's the uniqueness of Masonry. It regards no man for his religious belief. If you want to take your obligation or oath on the Quran, you can do that. If you have another book of faith that you want to use, you can do that. So whatever that is to you is to you. You know, that's a fact.
is taught to the Blue Lodge that it also symbolizes geometry, by which we may better understand nature and its designer. Now remember, if I am told this G represents God, cool, there's nothing wrong with that. I believe in God. Geometry, to understand nature and how it came into being, cool, there's nothing wrong with that. But that's what they're told as an external expression. But the G secretly represents the generative, meaning the procreative cycle of the female reproductive organ called the vagina. Generative organ. That's what that G really means. Most Freemason men don't know that.
That is not really what that G means, but I like it. I like it.
I think I am celebrating God. Regardless of which God, I am celebrating God. But that,
If you're thinking about
I mean,
buying
when I
silver
look at it, that's how I see it. I mean, you can call it what you want to call it. If that's how you're gonna get down with it, and you're gonna tell me that's what it means, that's I'm gonna have to use that one. I'm gonna have to use that one. You know, yeah, I'm gonna have to use that one.
generative, meaning procreative cycle of the female reproductive organ, the vagina. The letter G in the Hebrew alphabet is Yod. Yod represents deity in general. Its cosmic meaning refers to the stars and the sun, and the worshipped phallus in the earthly meaning. Can I ask you, do you have any idea what phallus means? Anybody?
Everyone should know what phallus means. Everyone should know what phallus means. Absolutely, I know what phallus means.
Do you have any idea what phallus means? Do you want me to tell you what phallus means? Are you sure? Are you ready for it? You're not going to faint? The word phallus means erected penis. Catch your breath, please. That's what the word yod, which in English is G, the secret meaning is the woman's vagina and also the phallus, which is the man's erected penis.
I'm gonna give him some credit on that one. I'm gonna give you some credit on that one. That G and that phallus, I'm gonna give you some credit on that. Ain't nothing wrong with that one. Absolutely nothing wrong with it.
The people, the men that get involved at the lower level will never know this. They think that they're becoming better men. even better Christian men. So the Yad, she, deity, phallus, is found in the mysterious book of the occult, a highly magical interpretation of the Old Testament that sorcerers and magicians use. That's why when you read the Bible in the Old Testament, and you read about all the pagans and the Jews that had become pagans, you read many times in the Bible that there was temple prostitution. That they actually, as they worship their gods, they were having sex in the temple on their altars, and then they killed the babies. This is where all of these practices from Freemason came from.
Now, that's incorrect, Pastor. That's not where it comes from. That's not where it comes from. That's not from my 35 years or more being in the masonry. I haven't come across that particular study yet, but if you have the information you want to share with me, I'm certainly open to it. But then, that's misinformation. That is not true.
Then you have the square. So what first symbol did we just take? The letter G. For what? The vagina. That's the hidden meaning. And then the Hebrew version is the Yad, which is the phallus, which is, you guys are bashful now, aren't you? As long as you don't forget it, that's okay. The square of a Mason. Now, men in here should know what a square looks like, right? I believe some women also knows what a square looks like. Do you? It's a 90-degree angle piece of metal like this that you use when you're making a building to make sure that your 90-degree angle is straight. If not, when you put your plywood or your plysem or your sheetrock, it's not going to fit because the angle is not well. So that's called a what? It's called a square. So let's talk about what the square of a Mason really is. Freemasons are taught that the square reminds them that they must be square, meaning fair and honest in their dealings with all men. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. If I am told that I have to be fair in my dealings with people, that's what God requires from us. But that's just the external, outward meaning that they give the men that are entering the Blue Lodge. The compass, we'll get back to the square in a moment. We're going to tie it together with the compass and the square. The compass, Freemasons are taught that the compass reminds them that they must restrict their passions, control their desires, and be temperate. So again, there's nothing wrong with that. Who shouldn't have self-control? Everybody should. That's what they're told. But there are hidden meanings to these two instruments, the compass and the square. The real meaning of the square and the compass is very sexual. The square, with its open ends facing up, remember now, the square is a 90-degree, and then
oh, he's into the esoteric
like
thing right there. He's into the esoteric thing right there. I ain't mad at him. I ain't, now this part, I ain't mad at him at all.
And if you notice when a man is wearing it on their chain, it's exactly that way. So the square with its open ends facing up represents Earth receiving the rays of the sun. This is what they're told. It represents the Earth that is open to receive the rays of the sun. The hidden meaning, am I there? No. The compass with its open arm and tips represents the sun and its rays falling to the earth. So the square, which represents the earth, receives the ray, but the compass represents the sun and the rays coming down to the earth. But listen to the hidden meaning that most Freemason men never
like I
know,
said, he's going into an
because they never
esoteric
venture
part
beyond
of the
the
esoteric,
open
however you want to say it. That's where he's going.
represents the opening of the woman's vagina as she lays on her back. The compass facing downward represents the man's erected penis. The compass on top of the square represents the earth being penetrated by the sun's ray of light and bringing about new life. The compass on top of the square represents the woman's vagina.
If you watch YouTube
Now
videos for at least
that's interesting. That whole part he just got through going through is pretty interesting. I kind of like it, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie to you. He was going somewhere where I've covered that myself in some of my studies with the brothers in the lodge. One of my past master Eric said, really, this way he was like eating this up. He likes this part, you know, and I'm not mad at him.
You could be.
I am not mad at him at all. That part right there, yeah, that can really get interesting. That can really get interesting. That's a fact.
The penis bringing about new life. Curses, curses, curses. If you notice, I have the symbol there for you, very small, right there on your paper. There's the compass and there's the square and there's the G in the middle. So that's the main symbol of Freemason that most men wear. Actually, this is burnt on the Bible's cover of the Freemason, this image. In the mystery religions of Osiris, Tammuz, Baal, the phallus, the male erected penis, has been worshipped, and the rituals climax with sexual union. This is going back to the Old Testament. Okay, so that's the G, that's the compass, that's the square. Now we want to take a look at the point with the circle inside. The Mason of the Blue Lodge, which is again first, second, third degree, because they don't know better, they are taught that the point within the circle represents the individual Mason, contained and restricted by the boundary line of their duties in Freemason. The real meaning, however...
Nah, you're off on that one now. Come on, you're off on that one. You was going somewhere with it, but you're off on that. You're off on that, okay? You're definitely off on that. And I agree when you started, but now you're off on that one now.
Is that of the phallus again, the erected penis, that little dot in the circle, if you're watching it, that's the phallus positioned within the female vagina in a climax.
He said that that dot represents the male penis inside of the female. You know, I'm about to go look that one up. I've never heard of that one. I'd like to know what book you got that from. That right there I'm getting interesting now. It's getting interesting. I kind of like that one. I'm about to go look that one up because I have never ever come across that one.
No, you weren't prepared for this, but may the Lord help you. In the cosmic sense, it is the sun surrounded by the universe, which equals sun worship, pagan worship. And then you have the vertical lines. Look again at your circle with the two lines. Do you see them? Do you see them? Yes. Okay. So, where are we here? Okay. So the vertical lines touching the sides of the circle are presented to the Blue Lodge Masons as the holy saints John the Baptist and John the Apostle. But they represent the summer-winter solstices, which is the peak and the shortest and largest nights of the year. This happens twice a year. These are the Cancer and Capricorn signs in the zodiac. And listen intently, these are two important nights for pagan worship. Of all the nights in the year, 2 nights between summer and winter are chosen where witches actually do their greatest incantation.
I don't know anything about the witches doing their thing, but that summer and solstice, I can agree with. I can actually agree with, because when you understand that in the winter, everything dies. Summer, spring, things springs to life in April. Come on now. This is why you may find that Christ's birthday, his resurrection is celebrated either in April or the latter part of March. I'm just saying.
Their sacrifices and their Satan worship. This is what the circle and the two lines actually mean, but they are told to the Freemason that you're dealing with John the Baptist and John the Revelator. Then you have the Bible. The Bible is only one of the three great lights in Freemason. The compass and the square are the two other great lights. So listen, I don't know if you got this. Do you get this? The Bible is considered one of the great lights, but also the square and also the compass are considered great lights.
And you know what? And I'm going to agree with you on that one. It's called the volume of sacred law. And it can be any book of faith that can be considered a great light to someone. Whatever that faith is, it's definitely considered a great light. The square and the compass, yes, it's what it is. And you're right.
Now, the compass means the erected penis. The square represents the vagina, but these are the great lights.
And that's not true. You know, that part. That you know what? I'm gonna think about that for a moment, because you know the penis and the vagina are great things. The penis and the vagina are great things. I mean, that's where you get life from. Now, your life comes from there. You know, let's just be honest with that. I'm just saying.
That is equal with the Bible. Are you getting it? Christ is excluded. The Bible and its authority is demoted to sexual immorality. The Bible is presented to the Blue Lodge as symbolizing the truth. In other words, the Bible is a good thing. That's what they tell Freemasons. But in truth, they say the Quran or any other holy book of any religion in the world can easily replace it, especially the Kabbalah. And the Kabbalah is the perverted pagan mystic book of pagans of old, which is false. So really then, in Freemason, even though they talk about the Bible is just an artifact for the Freemasons. Given a choice, listen carefully, because most men...
No. Any book of faith is welcome on the altar. A man can take his obligation on any book of faith because it's his faith. For those who are true Masons, understand that Masonry must be in your heart. You can't come in perpetrating a funk. You can't. You're going to get found out sooner or later. Truly, you're going to get found out because it has to be in your heart. If it's not here, ain't no need of you even coming in search of anything. It's not going to be for you. Masonry is not for everybody. It is not for everybody. There are plenty of men who have come through the doors of Masonry and left because it wasn't for them. It just wasn't for them.
You would say, well, I am a Christian, but I am also a Freemason, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you put them in a bind and you tell them you have to make a choice, 100% of the time they will choose Lodge over Christianity, which means that is their God.
I am not going to put myself in any situation, and if I'm going to follow anybody, it's going to be God. It's going to be the Messiah. Okay, let's have that clear understanding. If I'm going to follow anybody, it's going to be the Messiah. Okay, when you say that, man, come on now. Or if it came down to it, me picking a choice, it's going to be the Messiah. you know. And just because I follow the Messiah, it doesn't make you a Christian. It makes you a follower. I'm just saying, it makes you a follower.
Then you have the equilateral triangle. That's the triangle with all three sides equal. Right? You were taught that in school. The equilateral triangle is presented to the Blue Lodge as the triune God, what Christians call the Holy Trinity.
No, it is not presented as a triune God in the Blue Lodge. The triangle is not presented that way. Now, I'm only speaking for where I'm at right now. In my lodge, it is not presented that way. I can't speak for every Mason. I can't speak for every lodge. I can't do that. But for where I'm at, is it no. Mm-mm.
But the hidden meaning is pagan and again sexual. The baseline down and the point up. In other,
I don't know where he got all of that from, but nah, that part, I know where he's about to go with it, but that's not what we talk about. That's not what we teach upon that triangle. That's no, we don't say Father, Son, Holy Ghost, Holy. No, we don't do that. But hey, you know, for he might. I mean, you know, depends on what. Maybe he's a. No, was he ever rejected, Mason? Maybe he was. Maybe he was a rejected Mason. I don't know.
like this from the point opening up down. In other words, the wide end sitting down with the tip up is what? The phallus again. The penis, the erected penis. That's what the equilateral triangle with the wide part down represents for Freemason. The baseline up, which is the wider part up, and the point down, the open female vagina. When the two are combined it forms the 6-point star that represent sexual union. Now, I don't know how observant you are or how much research you may ever do, or maybe if you watch any documentaries, but whenever satanic things are being done, there's always like a goat head, and then in the background, there is a 6-point star.
Yeah, boy, I like riding that goat. Like right. Hey, look. If you gonna, we got the Raising in the Desert coming up real soon. We start about 4 o'clock in the morning, and they ride their goat, baby. They ride their goat. Yes, indeed, we ride their goat. Mm-hmm. Come on, in April, Las Vegas. The last weekend in Vegas, I think that is the 27, 28. Yeah, come on out. Come on out. Join us. Raising in the Desert this year, April the 27th and 28th in Las Vegas.
That 6-point star are two equilateral triangle, one with the point facing up and one with the point facing down. And this combined represents the sexual union of the man and the woman. Then you have the all-seeing eye. The all-seeing eye. If you have a US dollar on you, you'll find it on the US dollar. And many people have it on their chain. Some have it tattooed on their head, on their arm. They have it as a good luck charm somewhere with them. That all-seeing eye is presented to the Blue Lodge as the eye of God. You're protected, you're watched over. God is always looking out for you. But
it is not that God is always looking out for you, it's that to remind you that God sees everything. It reminds me that God sees everything. Whether it's done in the darkness or whether it's done in the light, it is a reminder that God sees everything. I'm going to give you credit on that one.
The hidden meaning is Osiris, the Egyptian sun and sex god. It is the actual object of worship in the Masonic Lodge. Did you get it? How many of you knew these things before it was taught?
Brother Corey Taylor, you're absolutely right. When you get that 6-pointed star, it does turn into the Star of David. You're absolutely right. I just wanted to make sure I said that.
Up to you tonight. How do this unashamedly, please. You don't have to be ashamed. By the way, next week we're going to be praying a deep, lengthy prayer to break the curse of this thing, because you're going to learn next week how cursed you are and how cursed the family is that has become a part of Freemason. Has anybody in here ever been involved in Freemason before? Can I see your hand? It's nothing to be ashamed about. People all around the world gets involved in this. Nobody. Does anybody know of someone who is involved in Freemason? That's getting better. Let me see if I can ask another question where all hands will go up. Freemason is as demonic as it comes. Later next week, you're going to find out how deeply demonic.
Now, he just said that Freemasonry is demonic. Oh my. I can't wait till next week. I gotta look that video up you did on that one. I gotta look that one up. I'm gonna tell you this is what actually happened to me one time. Is that when I was working at the warehouse before I got into the medical field, and a gentleman approached me and was like, "Oh, you're a Mason?" I said, "Yeah, I'm a Mason." I was new into it, and this man got to talking to me, man. He really had me on edge. And I took off my Masonic ring, my very first Masonic ring, and I threw it away. And I was like, wow. And I thought about it. I went and got it because I threw it in the trash. This guy really he got me. I threw my ring in the trash and I went and got it afterwards. I called my mom up and said, "Mom, you know what? I've been a Mason, and you know, I really like the brothers in the lodge. I really learned a lot. You know, a lot of the older men in there are really taking me under their wings, blah, blah, blah." And she was like, "Son, have they ever told you not to go to church?" I said, "No, they actually encouraged that." "Have they ever told you not to believe in Christ as your Lord and Savior at this time?" I was like, "No, they actually encouraged me to go to church, encouraged me to read the Bible." She was like, "If they're encouraging you to be a better person in life, if they're encouraging you to be better in life, then why quit? Have they ever caused you any harm, son?" I said, "No. They've actually assisted me along the way." She's like, "Why?" Gave me something to think about.
It really is with the blood oaths and the doctrines that they have for this religion. They don't call it a religion, but it is a religion by all means.
My job is a religion, brother. I go there every day, 8 hours a day, do the same thing repetitiously all the time. You know, I mean, you can call it what you want. Yeah. When you say it's a religion, no, because we don't put an emphasis on a man particular faith. We don't do that to him. It is of his own free will and accord.
So tonight, I won't be praying for anybody. I want you to think about all that you've learned. And if you know somebody, which many hands went up, those of you watching from around Belize and around the world, if you know somebody that is involved in Freemason, I want you to start to pray for them, because only God can free them. And if you, those of you watching from abroad, or
a person can just demit from the lodge. They can just say, "You know what? I'm good. I've learned a lot. I've enjoyed the fellowship. I've enjoyed the brothers of the craft. You know what? I'm done." And he can demit, or he could just stop paying his Masonic membership dues, and then they would just go ahead and put him as an inactive Mason, and he can just walk away from it, you know, and be done with it. I don't know why you think it's so difficult for an individual to walk away from Masonry. He walked into it. He can walk away from it. It is of his own free will and accord. Totally of his own free will and
Brown
accord.
believes if you have been involved in Freemason, it's time to start to renounce and to pray that God would break these curses from your family's life, because you are in serious, serious danger as it pertains to the demonic. So let's just close our eyes tonight, bow our heads.
So look, we're gonna get ready to conclude and wrap this up. But man, this right here is very interesting for what he said, and I don't know, I don't get it. I mean, you know, it is of his opinion, and some stuff he did read from wherever he had gotten that information from. You know, it is what it is. I like some of the stuff he said. I'm gonna be honest with you, I do. Some of the stuff he said, I'm gonna go back and really check it out myself, because it was interesting how he put the compass in the square, and then he said that it represented the male, the female, and then he talked about the G being the phallus entering that. I mean, that is sort of esoteric side of that. I gotta like that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I gotta like that. This is, you know, it is what it is. But a lot of the stuff he said, man, is way, way out the way. It is way, way out the way. And I would love to one day sit down with a minister and actually have that conversation with him regarding Freemasonry and why some of them feel that way. But hey, you know, until that time come around, it is what it is. So with that being said, look, for those of you who are up tonight with me, I just want to say thank you for coming through, hanging out with me, and it's late. I want to say good morning to you, good night to some, and hello to a whole lot that's going to be watching this later, because this is interesting. I didn't even have a chance to really do anything with this. I just went straight live, you know, wanted to hold this conversation, and that was sent to me. I want to say a big shout out to Brother Glenn from the UK, Mystic Lodge 619, who shared this with me and said, hey, you know what? I think you should do something with this. I want to say thank you. It's been a long time since I've been on here for this length of time. So look, whatever you're doing, wherever you at, remember, stay out the bushes, keep your light on. May God continue to bless you as he has always, and continue to bless those who put their light, their will, their, you know, hey, this guy right here had me going though. Look, may God continue to bless you as he's always blessed me. Thank you. And whatever you do, keep your head up, and definitely stay out the bushes and keep your light on. Until next time, peace and